Hey everybody, Kevin Huynh here. If you can hear me, just give a thumbs up to the camera. I need the motion. It's good to know. Thank you, Maya. I see it. 2 thumbs up. Appreciate it. So, racism, racist ideas, racist policies, anti-Blackness has been present my whole life. And it wasn't until the last 3 weeks where I've felt a necessary urgency to do something about it. That complacency is a result of my privilege. But more importantly, this urgency is a result of friends rallying me, friends like Nate, and the people who rallied them, and even more leaders who've rallied those people for hundreds of years. So, as I am to put it, it's thanks to these people who think like leaders. So maybe you're late to the fight, maybe you've been in the fight, and you're seeing folks finally raising their hands to join. And today, I want to guide us on a mini kind of creative journey on how we can rally the people in our lives, how each of us can channel today's energy to start a community of allies, of friends, of colleagues, of neighbors that take anti-racist actions and facilitate conversations beyond today for years to come. So welcome to Rallying People 101. I'm your trail guide today. If you're with me, just give me a thumbs up to the camera. Thank you, thank you. So rallying people is personal. It starts with who do you want to bring together? This isn't about what you can do alone. It's about what you and a group of fellow allies can do. So let's make it real. Let's talk about it. We're going to kick off with actually a quick fire kind of icebreaker breakout. You're going to need your videos, and I'm going to send you into a Zoom breakout room for 2 minutes, and you're going to find 1 to 2 other people there. And you're going to have 30 to 45 seconds each just to follow your gut and share the following. My name is blank. I want to bring together blank because blank. You might say, as an example, my name is Kevin. I want to bring together my teammates, my staff at my small company, because I think we have some intentional learning to do around how to actively be anti-racist with our work. So the person with the longest hair in your group is going to start. And once again, that prompt is, who do you want to bring together? Think about, in other words, who do you want to build with? Who do you share an interest or struggle with right now? Who is bringing the energy to your world? If you haven't done a Zoom breakout before, it'll be simple. You're going to see a little box pop up. You're just going to click to join. And we're going to suck you back here into this main call in about 2 minutes. So get ready to share and we'll call you back in a little bit. Sound good? So Annika is going to launch our breakout rooms.
Great. We're going to be starting that in about 30 seconds.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So start thinking, start jotting down your ideas and get ready to share. Also, shout out to Annika. She's making sure we are working efficiently, that I feel safe and have a great structure to do our thing today. Hey, Audrey, how's it going?
Hey, there was no one else in my breakout room.
Oh, no.
Oh, they didn't.
Thank you for coming back. Please share a little bit. What's your name? What do you want to bring together?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, my name's Audrey, and I want to bring together other creatives, especially here in Portland, because I think it's really important right now to work in community and hold containers and safe spaces for other people, especially non-Black and non-BIPOC, to do anti-racism work together.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
We just had our little mini breakout.
Cool. Thank you, Kevin.
Awesome. Gabriel, welcome back. I assume that you've come back from the breakout zone.
The breakout rooms are closing in 30 seconds.
Cool.
And it could be that some individuals did not put people in the breakout room.
Oh boy, how do I turn this?
Steven, welcome back. See you soon.
My lunch is coming out. I just got to grab it real fast.
All good. All good. All right. People are back. Welcome, welcome. Let me turn the tunes down. All right. So welcome back. So if you're just coming back, oh yeah, people are still coming in. 38 of us or so. Wonderful. Annika, is that most of the folks?
Yep, here we go.
Wonderful. So that's the question. Who do you want to bring together? Share some of those answers in the chat. Go ahead. Let this group witness you, witness your intentions. I ask this question every day to all types of leaders because it's the most important question if you want to rally people, if you want to start a community. So hold on to your answer, and we're going to kind of build on this hunch around who today, and feel free as I kind of prompt you to continue using the chat and share your ideas. So 1 minute of context about why I am guiding you today. This is me in the middle with my business partners, Bailey and Kai. I'm wearing the same Appreciate You shirt today. We published a book called Get Together about a year ago, a guidebook on how to build a community with people, not for people. That book was informed by guiding clients on how to do this. We run a strategy company called People and Company. And we basically spend lots of hours trying to be the best trail guide we can to brands, nonprofits, grassroots orgs on how to spark and sustain meaningful, action-oriented communities. The workshops, they look more like this these days. So for the next 24 minutes or so, I am your trail guide. So let's set the stage for our journey, right? Jamil Smith, journalist, shared the following on NPR's Code Switch a couple weeks ago. He said, "Whether or not this current movement will result in any concrete change is really up to people who may be least involved with the trauma. It matters whether or not the people who are not affected by this do something." So that's the setting, you know, how can we get more people to take action as allies against racism? True communities are simply groups of people who keep coming together over what they care about. That's my working definition. So alone, we are limited. With others, we multiply our impact. So if we care about identifying and dismantling racism, then let's put in the work to rally a community, you know, a group of people who will keep coming together and take sustained action beyond today, beyond Black Tile Tuesday. So we're gonna start jamming on this for ourselves. So if I'm your trail guide, let's draw a trail map. Please divide up your paper, which just 3 columns. We're going back to basics. Left, who, middle, why, then what. So who, why, and what. And we're gonna keep building on this. And as you jot that down, I'm gonna tell you a little story. And feel free to start, you know, putting in some ideas into that who category. So this is my friend, Legia Gong. She was born in China. She grew up in the East Coast. She's a counsel today, a legal counsel at the Public Rights Project. And in 2015, Legia was demonstrating and supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. And she felt inspired to do more. And in particular, she was wondering, you know, how do I stick with this, right? Like, how do I bring this fight for social justice against racial injustice into my daily life? So Legia and 3 of her friends started getting together, and they started asking, you know, what do we have in common? What can we do to challenge kind of structural inequality in our city? And one thing they landed on as friends with steady income was to give money, like a lot of folks. But it wasn't just about one-off donations. They decided to pool 1% of their annual income and 0.1% of their wealth annually and give it to folks in New York City organizing to protect frontline communities and fight structural inequality. So they're giving money to groups like No New Jails NYC, the Brooklyn Movement Center. And they started what's called a giving circle. They named it Rad Fund. So today it's about 15 folks. They meet monthly. They learn about new organizations. They share organizations. And every year they give tens of thousands of dollars. And they've done so for the past 5 years. And they are inspiring other folks to start circles, and they're putting together a toolkit to do so too. You know, alone we are limited, with others we magnify our impact. So question 1, you've already kind of taken a stab at, presumably in your breakout rooms, you know. Who do you want to bring together? Let's fill that in. So, you know, in this left column, for Legia, she would write about her friends, actually friends with money, varying amounts of wealth, but money, and friends that were keen to make a long-term commitment to fund fighting inequality in New York City. For me, you know, it's my teammates and my staff, you know, so who do you want to bring together? Is it friends? Is it coworkers? Is it peers? Is it family? Is it neighbors? Jot that down. Try to get a little specific. So next is an even juicier question. Okay, so why now are you all coming together? If you have a who in mind, imagine some of those faces. what will be the purpose of this community? For Rad Fund, first and foremost, I think it's about resource pooling, right? It's about pooling more money and giving it more intentionally to realize the impact that they kind of want to see in the world. Also, some amount of it is probably about fun, frankly. You know, it's selecting, donating, and hanging out with friends and doing it in a way that they can really sustain their commitment. In the corner, they talk about how many dance parties they've gone to together. They run a fundraiser, partner with a dance party called TFW, where they do a rad party, and they raise money on a regular basis. They just did one over Zoom 2 weeks ago. So, you know, why specifically do you want to get your people together? And, you know, take a stab at getting this more specific than just fighting racism. You know, is this about accountability, right? To take sustained action against racism? Are you thinking about learning and development, you know, the history of racism, how to talk about race? Or is it guidance on what strategies are or aren't working? Emotional support to address the trauma associated with racism? Is it resource pooling like Rad Fund? Or, you know, inspiration or fandom to celebrate, you know, Black leaders or anti-racist leaders? You know, is it fun to stick with a commitment? Is it a blend of two of these? If you're not sure, you know, what's kind of a hunch? Like you can start to see what it means to get a bit more specific and optimized for one or two of these over just hanging out in kind of an ambiguous cloud. So I invite you to jot down your hunch. You know, why your community comes together, the purpose of your group. You know, I get that this might never be fully answered, right? It's a question that's going to be, you'll continue to ask and you'll probably iterate on, and one thing will lead to another. But if you craft a hypothesis around who you want to bring together and why they will come together, you're going to be better equipped to answer what they might do together or come up with purposeful ideas. So give it a shot. You know, what do your people need more of? What problem can they solve together? Is it resource pooling, accountability, learning? Give it a shot. So we've made it to this stage of the journey. You have who, you have why. So what can you do together? Last year, I had really the pleasure of taking one-on-one office hours with 100 different community leaders around the world. And here's what I learned about what makes an exceptional kind of shared activity, an exceptional what you might do together. I think there are 3 traits for exceptional shared activities. I want you to channel them to rally your friends, coworkers, neighbors, customers, clients, other folks you care about. Those 3 traits are purposeful, participatory, and repeatable. So when I say purposeful, say you want to bring together, you know, colleagues to learn how to talk about race. We have a who, we have a why that's more focused on learning and development. Then optimize for the learning part. What does that mean? That probably means it's not just listening. There's probably some practice or discussion involved. This is a little bit less about emotional support. It's about learning. So how do you really shift that activity to be as purposeful as possible? You know, participatory, the question is, how do you give people a chance to truly contribute? You know, don't talk at people, do something with them. If we're still sticking with the coworkers and learning, then give those colleagues maybe a chance to pool questions, or do they have to choose a book to read and do a lunch and learn and facilitate discussion about it and reflection? Like, break up ownership of that activity. And finally, repeatable. So one-offs are the enemy. You know, this is about sustained commitment. So do something that's lean enough that you're not going to burn out doing it after just once, you know, but it's also valuable enough that it makes sense to do over and over again. And I get that this is kind of easier said than done, but this is sort of the lens to look at your activities and try to continue to push them to be sort of more successful, more purposeful, more participatory, more repeatable. If you need an easy way to remember it, here's your acronym for the day. It's PEPPER, PPR. So just, sprinkle some pepper on your shared activities. It's not trademark. You can go take that, do whatever you want with it. So there are many types of activities, many amazing examples of ordinary people bringing people together in extraordinary ways. I'll just share 4 types quickly to jog your imagination. If you're thinking about pulling resources to fight racism, Giving Circle, like Rad Fund, we already talked about that. You want to inspire people to take action. Maybe it's a day of action, like Girl Trek. They're an organization that does these regular Saturday walks across the country to raise awareness about Black women's health. Learning and development, like maybe consider an unconference. So this is EdCamp Newark. An unconference is the opposite of a conference where you have an agenda that's already set. They actually meet in the morning, put up ideas for what might be discussed, what are the most important topics, and then break out in discussion, kind of build that schedule together, very participatory. Finally, if it's maybe about guidance, think about making a collaborative resource, like Letters for Black Lives. This came up years ago, and they've just done a 2020 refresh. It's an open letter project providing people the language to talk to their parents, talk to their family members about Black Lives Matter. It's been translated dozens of times. There's a Vietnamese version if I want to go send it to my auntie. Consider that. So what are you doing together? You know, you've got a who, you've got a why. Try jotting down one idea. You know, what feels like it immediately makes sense. It doesn't have to be fancy. Or just try taking one of these and be like, what would it look like to do a purposeful, participatory, repeatable small group circle, or a training or workshop, or a day of action for this group of folks? So that I've taken you this far on the journey. And like we started, I want to do a quick breakout discussion. You know, this is about sort of just starting to make these things real, starting to think actively about them. So what did you come up with? Anything new? You know, share kind of who you were thinking about bringing together, why they might come together, what they can do together. No judgment, just whatever came up for you. Or share about where you're stuck. If you couldn't get past why, share why you couldn't get past why. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Awesome. So we're going to send you into breakout rooms one more time for 3 minutes this time. Maybe the person with the shortest hair can go first. And with that, see you soon. Wonderful. All right. So today we jammed on just those first steps with starting a community to take action together. Not just now, but one that will keep on taking action. And the lesson is if you start by trying to articulate who you want to bring together and why you might come together, you're better equipped to design what you might do together. Quick closing thought is that, you know, the most important lesson I've learned through all of this work is that if you want to build a community, you should go build it with people and not for people. Accomplishing more together is really what this is about. So you can think about community building, you can think about starting a group as progressive acts of collaboration. You might have to do something for people at the start. You might have to, you know, stand up the group. You might have to rally folks for the first summit, but you should be trying to do more with others every step of the way. You know, give away ownership at every step. If someone's not ready to lead, maybe they can lead the stretch. And if you're ever stuck, just kind of come back to this question, like, how might I do this with people and not for people? Communities feel magical. They don't come together by magic. You know, just look at today's summit. When I texted Nate 2.5 weeks ago, this was an idea, and 2,100 people wanted to come. You know, so the anti-racist community you want to rally, you want to bring together, that's not gonna happen. That won't form without someone willing to take the first step. And I'm just here to remind you that you can spark a community. You know, you can rally your people. Don't sit back and wait for one to appear. You are the difference. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.